Writing a paper? This short video will teach you how to mind map your paper. Before we get started, I want to preface this by saying, make sure that you read the prompts of your assignment to make sure that you get everything that you need in your paper. Let's get started. Thinking about the mind mapping process, imagine having a butterfly and you have this information that you want to share with people. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to think about your main idea. Your main idea is in the center, and then these sections of the butterfly become what you want to talk about. For my example, I have 4 butterflies that I'm going to talk about. So what will happen is that each butterfly will have its own portion. And in each portion is where I will start to talk about just that butterfly. I can talk about the coloring. I can talk about how it migrates or what types of flowers that it eats. I can also talk about how far it may travel or why the colors are the way that they are. But all of that's going to focus just in this one area. And you may have more than one paragraph. You will have the main idea and sub-paragraphs after that to go deeper. But this area is just going to be for the monarch butterfly. And then we follow through and do the same for every area. This really helps you to keep your work focused and organized on exactly what you want to talk about. Every paper that you write will have a main idea. You pick a topic, that's your main idea. But there are some criteria that needs to be met in your paper. Every paragraph should start with a strong topic sentence. This lets the reader know what the paragraph will be about. For your opening introduction, you should have about 150 words that clearly states what your paper will be about and what you intend to prove. Your thesis should encapsulate your entire paper into a single sentence at the end of your introduction paragraph. The ideas you summarize earlier in your introduction should flow logically to this statement of the purpose of your work. Every paragraph after the introduction paragraph should have a transitional sentence that leads the reader into the next paragraph smoothly. Pi method. To develop your paragraphs, as a rule of thumb, think of pi. Each paragraph in a critical essay needs a point, information, and an explanation. All paragraphs should be about 7 to 11 sentences that need to have 3 pieces of information. P for point, also known as your topic sentence, where you state what the paragraph is about. I for information, where you present your information that's inclusive of facts, details, quotes, and reasons. Back up your sources with analysis. Why is this information important? E, explanation. Explain the relevance of your research as it relates to the main idea of your paper. Let's say we're writing a paper about butterflies. Paragraph 1. The monarch butterfly. This is your section header. Every time you have a new section, you should have a section header that keeps your reader engaged and it keeps you focused. Sometimes it's easier to ask a question than it is to come up with a good statement. But in APA writing, your goal is to write strong statements without asking rhetorical questions. So Do you know what type of butterfly this is? Should not be used. Instead, use something like, monarch butterflies are one of the most identifiable insects in the world. This tells the reader what to expect in the paragraph. We now know this paragraph is about butterflies, specifically the monarch. According to Wang et al., 2019, as one of the most familiar North American butterflies, the monarch butterfly has an orange and black pattern that can be easily recognized. Page 2. This is a fact. We are stating that it comes from Wang et al. Because there's more than 2 authors. The year was written, 2019. We include quotation marks because this is a direct quote. We go ahead with the direct quote, end with end quotes, and then page 2, which is where it can be found. Now you want to analyze this information. Why is it important to your writing? The monarchs are known to travel over 3,000 miles yearly to and from North America to Mexico during their migration period. The coloring becomes a warning to predators that they are poisonous. So this is a brief analysis of this source. However, they are not the only butterfly that travels long distances. This is your transitional sentence. It carries the reader into the next section or the next paragraph that you plan to write. Paragraph 2, another new section, so you're going to follow the same format of pi to create a solid paragraph for this type of butterfly. Follow up with a transitional sentence so that it flows into the next paragraph. Paragraph 3, the same format. Follow up with a transitional sentence for the next paragraph. And paragraph 4, follow the same format of pi, creating that solid paragraph for this type of butterfly, and then follow up with a transitional sentence as well. Your conclusion is the final paragraph of your paper. A paragraph is really good for your conclusion. This is where your goal is to wrap up all of the information and circle back to your thesis. You're just tying it all together in a succinct paragraph of 7 to 11 sentences. Your final page is your reference page. As you can see, references is written in bold, and then the reference that I used is here. Capitalization is correct. Hanging indent is correct. And if I had more than one reference that I used, of which you will have, it should be in alphabetical order. Remember, whenever you have an in-text source, it must show up on your reference page. And whenever you have a reference on your reference page, it must show up in your paper. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to the instructor, or you can look towards your library resources.